It's a very special time here at KSHJ because I'm sitting next to a veteran here in the KSHJ AM 1430 studio. We have Gunnery Sgt. Andrew Ortiz. Gunny Ortiz helped organize the Veterans Mass, which was held yesterday at the Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart. Gunny, welcome into the program. Thanks for being here on Veterans Day. Thanks for your service in the Marines.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to ask you about the Veterans Mass because I was seeing some pictures coming in. Celia Clay had sent me some. The Martinezes had sent me some photos. I wasn't able to be there because I was all the way out in St. Edwards, but it looked like that the Veterans Mass at the Co-Cathedral in downtown Houston was beautiful, represented by the different branches of the military. Tell me about why you wanted to organize a Veterans Mass and working with Father Jeff at the Co-Cathedral to honor our veterans.
Well, first, I want to say thank you to Father Jeff, the pastor of the Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart, and the staff and personnel that were involved in setting it up. It was time in coming to have this Mass because, again, as I presented it in my presentation, it was that everybody celebrates everyone else, but it's the veteran. It's the military veteran of the United States that sometimes is forgotten. There's a celebration, there's recognition, there's, remembrance, but why can we not do this in prayer? Why can we not get all the military, all the veterans, and in prayer to give thanks for these individuals' service to God, country, and the branch of service that they belong to.
Yeah, I love that connecting the spiritual, the church aspect to it, because you're right. In our secular society, often we simply mention Veterans Day, but forget that spiritual element, which is so vital and so significant.
Well, there's never an atheist in a foxhole.
Right, exactly. I can only imagine. It's also a significant weekend, or this past weekend was significant because it's a birthday for the Marine Corps.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And so what birthday number are we at for the
Marines?
Marines?
We're at 249th anniversary of the Marine Corps.
So 1 year before 250. Next year it's going to be...
Next year is 250 years of tradition, and it's going to be a big party.
Yeah. So again, this Veterans Mass at the Co-Cathedral, this is just the second year that you guys have done it. You working with Father Jeff and so many different folks. Again, I guess the idea is just to continue to build it, get more people notified about it so they know they can come and participate.
Yes.
And I think you were telling me that Father Jeff actually made kind of a special announcement about it.
Yes, he said that it was the start of a tradition. And so with his blessing, we're going to move forward, and we're going to make it bigger and better as the years progress. It's just having to get to the military community as early and as timely as we can to make this happen. Because again, the cathedral sits about 1,500, or max is about 1,800. So 1 year, next year, we want to fill it.
Absolutely. And I want to give credit to Celia Clay, who helped organize the Mass itself. And, of course, you had representatives. I guess the idea is to have veterans do different aspects of the Mass. So the readings, probably the...
We had Sean Davis. He's a American Legion commander up in the Woodlands, the Spring area. He's acting, and reached out to him, and he accepted. And then we had Master Sergeant French who did a reading, and again, she's they all came through because again, we're looking at all Christians. We're looking for them to participate. I do know that it's Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart is Catholic, but it's an archdiocese. The other thing is that Christians, we want all of those veterans to come and participate in one day of giving thanks in remembrance of those who have served as United States Armed Forces.
And I imagine that's so important because I bet a lot of veterans feel lonely, or if they're disconnected with their group or live in a different part of the country, they're not always with family in some cases.
And this is the time to bring them together in prayer.
Yeah, amen, amen. So obviously, like the idea is to continue to grow it, continue to let people know about it, because it's only in its second year, which is surprising to me, Gunny, that we're only in the second year. You would think that this Veterans Mass would be a tradition here in the Houston area with so many vets and so many people that support vets.
Well, if you look at the calendar for a Sunday, it was very challenging.
Oh, sure.
To the public. It was very challenging. So, but we have we have our sites. We have our sites, and again, it's a Christian thing. It's a parish thing, and hopefully, as the time comes, we'll be able to reach out to the faithful and those veterans to come and worship with us. Those that I experienced yesterday that came by and said well wishes were all veterans. Yeah. They just got drift of it and they showed up. So again, like I told them, it says next year it's going to be bigger and better.
Very good. One way that you work to honor veterans and those who have served in the military is with your own organization. Tell me a little bit about what you created.
Semper Fi number 3 Memorial Honor Detail is a funeral detail that's exclusive. The membership are veteran Marines, and those veteran Marines volunteer their time, give of themselves, to go and pay military honors to those those veterans who have died. We as veteran Marines, we're allowed to wear our uniform, and we go out in dress blues all the time. And so we're allowed to wear our uniforms for the funerals, and that is built up from the beginning. Then this funeral detail happens to be, again, for all veterans. If we get the call from an Army family, we'll go do it, and again, we'll do it with honors. We got together in 2000. We were IRS. What was that? 2014.
Okay.
It's when we became a nonprofit. So we operate on a nonprofit status.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we will once we get the call, we will be out there in uniform, and it's built up with a fire and detail, and it's fire and detail people to fold the flags, and Marine to play the taps, or a volunteer to play the taps. And this was like in 2001, the Department of Defense did away with funeral details as we were acquainted with them. Today, the family or the funeral home calls the DOD, the casualty department, and that branch of service is going to send out 2 to 3 people to do the service. That is what DOD said back in 2001, because they were doing away with funeral details because of the manpower. All these troops were being deployed to various conflicts around the world. So it strained the manpower. Today, it's the same thing. So we, Semper Fi number 3, gets up there and augments services for the active duty side of the house and vice versa. So we have the blessing of the command at Inspector Instructor Marine Corps at Ellington Air Force Base.
Is it rewarding to do that for veterans, for people who have passed on?
It's a reward for me, because I've had experiences where in a conflict with families and other issues and other concerns, some of my friends and some of my acquaintances went to their grave without any services. And not only that, but the thing is that for me it's rewarding to give honors to these individuals who on their DD 214 says honorable. With that said, you're my hero. You are going, as long as I'm breathing and as long as I have this funeral detail, you are going to have a hero send-off. That's what I'm wanting to build, and that's what my focus is on.
Very good. If you're just now joining us, you're listening to AM 1430. Catholic Lunch Break is this program. This is Wyatt Goolsby talking with Gunny Ortiz, a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps, and we're talking all about his Memorial Honor Detail, Semper Fi 3. Gunny, why is it Semper Fi 3? I'm guessing there's 2 more. in other parts of the country?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Semper Fi #1 is located out of Riverside, California.
Mm-hmm.
Semper Fi #2 is out of Redding, California, outside of the San Francisco area.
And you figured, hey, we got to get one in Texas.
So we're here in Texas, we're here in Houston, and we are Semper Fi #3.
Very good. I want to talk a little bit more about the spiritual aspect of veterans, because before we went on, Gunny, you were talking to me a little bit about veterans who have served in past wars, World War I, World War II, had received holy objects during their fighting, usually from a chaplain. So whether it's a Bible or a rosary, tell me a little bit more about that.
That's one of the traditions we have at the Mass, at the Veterans Mass.
Mm-hmm.
We're gifted to have received rosaries, and these rosaries are blessed,
Mm-hmm.
and these rosaries are significant as to what happened in the World War I, World War II, where rosaries were given out. Supposedly, the story is that they were issued. They were a basic issue. The rosary and the Bible were a basic issue to all armed forces individuals. But as research and reading into it is, the government was responsible for supplying the rosaries and the books, but the chaplains were able to dispense the rosaries and the Bibles to those individuals who cared for one, or else they left them in the chapel and they would pick them up at the chapel. The serviceman or woman would pick them up at the chapel, and so they were gifts to the individual for him or her to use.
When you were in the Marines, was prayer a source of strength for you?
Oh yes, it was. Prayer was a big strength for me. Yeah.
And what years were you in the Marines?
I was active duty from 65 to 69.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 71, 72, I enlisted in the reserves, and I retired in 1990.
And so did you have a chaplain when you were active in the Marines, or a place that you went, like a church or a chapel, to pray?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I had one in El Toro, who was a fine chaplain, and the other one was in Camp Lejeune, where again I started to seek spiritual help, and the chaplain, he took me under his arms or his wing, and he said, and I pulled through. Faith is something that I pulled through with.
Yeah, we really got to give credit to our chaplains because it's definitely a service that they provide, and a real servant attitude. And I imagine that helps so many people who have been in the military to have some place to go when times are tough. Sometimes, in many cases, when they're away from their family.
Right. Right.
You had mentioned before that you had a rosary. Can you mind pulling that out of your pocket? I wanted to take a look at it for a second. Because if I'm thinking correctly, it's kind of a silver image here. There you go. For people who are watching via video, we have the rosary here. You said this one was blessed?
Yes.
Very good. Excellent. So it's a beautiful silver there. And tell me, you got this, a couple years ago?
Right. And this is one of the combat rosaries.
Yeah.
And I got this a few years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And what's the significance of the material?
The significance, supposedly, these beads are made out of supposedly military medals.
Okay.
Back when they were being issued, they were made out of pull string. The beads, the pull chains, they were made out of that, or they were made out of similar to dog tag chains, and they were to last a while. But the silver, because again it would give away your position, they were painted black, and then some of them came out with wood. But this is the one. This is my favorite.
Yeah. It's amazing that no matter where you go in the world, you can find Catholics with rosaries and asking, Our Lady, our Heavenly Mother, for her intercession, and it's definitely needed. I wanted to ask you, Gunny, if you have any special devotions or if you have any favorite prayers that you like to go to.
Just saying the rosary is where I go to.
Yeah, well, you can't go wrong, right?
Well,
asking Mary for help.
Asking the Blessed Mother to ask her son to, shed some grace on my prayers.
For sure. And you were telling me that you regularly now go to Mass at the Co-Cathedral. How long have you been attending Mass there?
I've been there when I started there at the old Co-Cathedral, and I started going there, and then I got drafted by one of the elder ushers to help, and then I got drafted to being an active usher, and that transitioned from pastor to pastor because I serve at the direction of the pastor. I am today the ushers coordinator for the ushers at the Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart. And again, like I say, I work under the discretion of the pastor, and I've already gone through 4 or 5 pastors. And that's who I am at the Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart.
Very good. I want to go back to your organization, to your nonprofit, the Semper Fi 3, a memorial honor detail here in Houston. You also put a bunch of information about the work that you do to honor veterans when they pass on the website. What information have you put on there, and what kind of information do you try to provide for folks?
I provide guidance as far as where they can go, what they can do, and how they can support Semper Fi number 3.
Okay.
That's the information that we set out. And a lot of times when I get the call, I'll send out a memo to the widow informing her of the chain of events that she or he may need to follow in the event that they may be entitled to some benefits. There's already 3 that we're dealing with benefits. Again, it's information, it's educational, because a lot of times, a lot of the spouses or veterans don't know that this is what they're entitled to, or this information is there for them. Because again, when we go out and we do a funeral detail or we do a funeral, we're not in it for the business. We're in it for the honor. We're in it for the sake of giving this veteran his or her services, honorable services. Like I said, honorable send-off, hero send-off. But we're not there for the money. We're not there for the cost. We're not there. It's not a job for us. It's a volunteer. It's just to, again, provide the honors for the family and the veteran.
And I imagine you pretty much have gone all across the greater Houston area.
Yes, we have. And the colonel, one of my colonels that I relayed the mission statement to, he said I was cutting myself real thin, and I asked him why. He said, well, you got here in your mission statement that it's Houston, Harris County, and Texas. And can you make it across Texas? I said, sir, given enough time, we'll make it. We've already had some in Beaumont, East Texas, at the Louisiana-Texas border, and we've had a few of them in Hallettsville.
Very good.
So we've covered the mission so far. But yeah, we can stretch it. Given enough time.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me that you provide a lot of the information for the family members of veterans who have died, because, it makes sense to me that a lot of them may not know what the benefits are. They may not know the procedure of when a veteran dies, how to honor them during a funeral service. So it does make sense to me that you're probably just talking with a lot of family members saying, okay, this is the normal procedure, this is how it goes, and then finding out their own unique situation and what you can do to kind of serve them.
Right, because I'm not there just for the services, for the funeral services. I'm there to help to help the next of kin,
Mhm.
the widow or the widower or the family, to go through this maze, to help them go through this maze. So for me, it's a 22, 23-hour day job, and I love it.
For sure. Tell me about, Gunny, why it's so important that we, as a nation, as individuals, as churchgoers, why it's so important that we honor our veterans.
Like I've said, to honor our veterans is the fact that what they go through, the sacrifices, enduring, and not, and then what they have to go through is something a civilian may not ever comprehend. What we went through, how we got indoctrinated, and what we've done, how much we've had to endure, is just something that an average civilian may not ever understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an honor. It's an honor for me to do what I'm doing, and not only that, but to at least help these veterans some way, somehow, get them recognized.
Well, God bless all of our veterans. It's important, a good reminder to pray for all of our veterans, as well as pray for the repose of those souls of the veterans who may have recently passed as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Gunny, it's an honor to have you here in the studio. We appreciate your time here on Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Again, the Semper Fi #3 Memorial Honor Detail. Give me the website for people who want to check that out.
The website for Semper Fi #3 Memorial Honor Detail is www.semperfi, SEMPERFI3, THREE.com. It's all spelled out.
All spelled out.
Yes, sir.
Semperfi3.com.
Semperfi3.com.
Very good. Well, we urge people to check that out if you're here in the greater Houston area or in across Texas, and find out more, especially if you come from a family of a veteran who may have recently passed and want to get more information
Yes.
about benefits. Very good. Well, like I said, it's been an honor. Gunnery Sgt. Andrew Ortiz, Marine Corps veteran, we appreciate your time today. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.